Okay, you know, I've been harsh with you guys, the species I share DNA with. I sometimes remind myself, you know not what you do, you suffer from HSD. But still, it's harsh. I mean, you guys like to consume, what Sam Harris, I think, I don't know if he was the first one, called digital vomit, like from Jordan B. Peterson and Trump and Fox News and greenwashing channels, and your attention span can hardly last a minute. You reinforce it more and more. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of destroying your own brain. But what's happening, why everybody's frustrated and they don't know how to understand it, and they don't know how to explain it or discuss it or problem solve it or self-correct or have the big picture of it, is because there's nobody that does. I want to include myself that I do, although I'm a lifelong learner who's still learning stuff, but I've never heard anybody talk about the state of the human condition and how it relates to the Anthropocene, the natural world, climate and things like that, but also our dysfunctional societies internationally that are getting worse. I've never heard of somebody that could, as a system thinker, explain it better than I can, or with a more clarity or precision or finesse. And it's not because they're not good at it, it's because I didn't discover anybody that has the big picture in that way, in the way that I have it. But in a way, we all do. And this is the point of this post on the human condition, that I'm trying to be tolerant with the species that accelerates the destruction of life that I love on this planet, and who continues to be abusive of me as they do so. I know your intentions are not consciously to accelerate things. I mean, some people can do that because they somehow have brains where they can convince themselves of their own digital vomit. We are that far devolved. I've been talking about it. Even before I was born, our species had already passed tipping points of its own devolution where that was inevitable. Even if I would have been born a miracle baby, is you can't do that unless you kind of reboot the whole thing, right? And there's nobody that can do that, as much as you want to believe that it's okay to not be part of the solution because a God's going to do that. It's not going to happen. And a God wouldn't do it for you, somebody who doesn't want to do the work to protect heaven, right? Heaven on this planet when we first started evolving here. So you know why you guys know there's things wrong is the collective unconscious. You could even link this to cognitive resonance if you want, or you can discredit what I'm saying because you might use cognitive resonance as a way to discredit it. It's up to you, whatever way you want to understand it. But pretty much everybody knows things are bad and they're getting worse, and pretty much everybody's frustrated by not having the big picture, even though I've been trying to give it to you in my channel. So they'll point the finger at this person. They'll think it's about only this issue or that issue or that issue. And even if they think they have the biggest issue ever, something like freedom, or we gotta go more towards love, or equality, or climate, whatever it is, it's still just a piece of the big picture, and it's still also, lacking all the interconnections that you can explain and understand. And it's also pretty much worse than you realize. So what we all have in common is we are connected to this collective unconscious that tells us that something that we can't fully explain or understand makes us feel like it's shitty that we're born at this time of history while we bring more kids into the world to be born in this time of history, which again shows the common denominator is our species broken up here. And that's what I've been trying to help you guys with. So I'll try to be more lenient with you and keep talking about the 99.99% of the people that are part of the problem. And you guys I know most of you will think you're that 0.001 that is the exception. And that means you're not ready for my channel. But if you realize I am part of this 99.99, and if there ever is a 001 or 01, then, whatever, it's not important. What's important is I realize, I did in the past realize, I was living a life or lacked an understanding that made me part of the problem. And it was hard, and it was a hard journey, and there's no place to go to that gives you specific support for the Anthropocene. And there's no family members that get closer to you when they're already not close. They get further from you. Same thing with friends. You lose friends over time. You lose employers. You lose the welcoming nature of communities that were a little bit more there in the past, but not entirely there. It's getting worse. Communities are, especially remote ones, they believe that they can keep reality away. Somehow it won't impact them, which makes them even more nuts because they're part of the collective unconscious, which tells them things are wrong everywhere. So I don't expect to meet Homo sapiens, but I'm going to try to be more lenient with you, the Homo communia, the common man, woman of this epoch, geological epoch, that we now call the Anthropocene because of us, broken. I'm going to try to be more lenient with you. And when you kind of start being argumentative, I'll be harsher. But I'll still walk away if you're not ready for reality. And I will still use all of my skill sets to defend my reputation, the most valuable asset that I have. And that is important for me as somebody that does not want to be part of the problem, but introduce more potential solutions.